So today we're going to talk about why you shouldn't lift the Jeep 7 inches on short arms. We are checking out Frank's Jeep. He's had a couple of issues with Deathwobble and all that, and I'm noticing some issues that I'm pointing out so that he can go ahead and fix. And I thought this would be a good opportunity for you guys to see how to check for Deathwobble. So first things first, he is on a 7-inch lift. It has the spacers plus springs, and it is on short arms. The first thing you're gonna notice is it's bowed. And that is because the plate where the spring goes, it is pushed this way. And you can tell by looking at that pinion angle how far forward it is. Now to fix that, what I would recommend is the long arms for the size of his lift. It's gonna make the ride better. It's gonna make the way that the axle droops whenever you hit a bump or whatever, it's gonna eat it better. It's gonna feel better on the road. But to fix that with what he has now is we're gonna have to extend those lower control arms. So extending the lower control arms is gonna take this angle that the axle is currently at to a straighter angle. Another issue with the short arms is they might not have enough thread on them to be able to push the axle forward enough. On ZJ's, does the center of the axle sit behind the spring perch or centered with the spring? I'm not too sure. If you guys can comment down below so I can let the owner know, I would really appreciate it. And since the springs are bowed right now, the sway bars are hitting on the spring, so that's causing a noise whenever he drives the Jeep. Another thing to check for Deathwobble, and just to make sure that your Jeep is driving good, you're gonna need a measuring tape. You're gonna pick a spot on the Jeep that's the same on both sides. So we're gonna go here in front of the spring, and we're gonna find a point on the tire that should be the same on both sides, and we're gonna use this line here. So we're about 20.5 on this side, and I'm making sure that the tape is straight. So we're actually gonna measure from the back because this one has a plate. So on the back, this side is 21 3/4, and this side 20 3/4. So it needs to move 1/2 inch towards the passenger side. So what that'll cause is whenever you hit a bump, you're gonna get bump steer. When the Jeep goes through the suspension cycle, the axle's actually gonna move to the side and jerk back, and that can cause Deathwobble. That jerking, if you have anything else that's loose in the front end, it's gonna cause the axle to move. So you definitely wanna have your axle straight on the Jeep. And on ZJ's, if you guys didn't know, the rear actually has a track bar too, so you definitely wanna make sure that it's centered on both ends. And also, we are giving away a detail stubby bumper for a WJ on the website right now. So make sure you go check it out. The giveaway ends at the end of the month. Don't miss it. Anyways, let's get back to checking out what's causing the Deathwobble. Now for the Deathwobble, what I recommend is getting a friend in the Jeep, turning the steering side to side just enough to see play. And then you're gonna get under here. First thing you're gonna check is the track bar. That's gonna be one of the first things you should look at. The track bar. The bushings can go out, so you want to check on both sides, the top and the bottom. And also the holes on the track bar can also be wallowed out and cause issues, but you're going to want to check that. Second, you're going to want to check the drag link ends on both sides and also the tie rod ends on both sides. Track bar is that black one in the back. Drag link is this one that goes across from the gearbox to the axle, and then the tie rod is the one that goes from wheel to wheel. A big thing on these Heim joints, they move a lot. The drag link is gonna be bouncing when you're off-roading or driving on the streets, which can cause jam nuts to get loose. So here we can see the jam nut, it's moving. It needs to be tightened. What I recommend on Heims is adding a little bit of Loctite to tighten it up. That way, whenever you hit bumps, it's not gonna get loose. And trust me, I've done it myself. I've added Loctite, and I haven't had to tighten them since I added Loctite. So those are some of the issues going on in the front end. Let me show you the rear. So right off the bat, we're gonna go here to the spring. You can see it's sitting wonky. You look down, it is at an angle. So the spring is sitting like this, but you kind of have to do that when you lift it, so that you're clearing this area. You're also gonna wanna make sure your drive shaft angles, whenever you're adjusting control arms, are correct. Use an angle finder to measure drive shaft if necessary. Like I said, these have a track bar, the ZJ, so you gotta make sure that the rear is centered. So what he's gonna have to do is adjust the track bar front and rear, check the driveline angles because I think that it's off. It looks off to me. The front end, what he has to do is replace the track bar bushings or the track bar itself. Make sure to tighten the jam nut over there. Definitely fix the caster angle because it's not sitting right, and that's why the springs are hitting the sway bar, it needs to be twisted a little bit more. Ultimately, what I do recommend is him getting long arms over the short arms for the amount of lift he has, because the angles are just too aggressive. It's not going to drive comfortable. So if this video helped you guys out, fix any death wobble, any issues with bump steer, anything like that, let me know in the comments down below what your Jeep has, and maybe we'll make a video fixing it. So anyways, we'll see you guys on the next video. Shout out to Frank for letting me record his Jeep. That way I could teach you guys something, and hopefully he gets everything solved soon. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.